Welcome to AI Unraveled. Today we're diving into a story of total opposites playing out in the world of AI. We're talking about a staggering failure rate for new projects, a government potentially buying a legacy chip maker, and some truly wild AI personalities being built behind the scenes. Let's get right into it.
First up, let's just rip the Band-Aid off with this reality check from MIT Sloan. An incredible 95% of corporate generative AI pilots, they're failing to ever see the light of day. This really sets up the central tension we're going to explore today, that massive gap between the hype and the on-the-ground reality.
Then there's this story, which is just an absolutely unprecedented move in the high-stakes world of chips. The U.S. government is seriously considering becoming the largest shareholder in a cornerstone of American technology. Wild stuff.
And finally, we're going to unpack how the Wild West of prompt engineering is getting exposed. We've got leaked instructions that reveal some truly chaotic AI personalities being deliberately built. It is a packed day for sure.
Okay, first, let's start with the push of progress. Let's talk about where AI is making tangible, real leaps forward across the globe, creating brand new products and totally transforming entire industries.
So first up, OpenAI is testing out a new, super affordable subscription plan in India called ChatGPT Go. We're talking roughly $5 a month. This is a huge strategic move to capture its second largest market. But look, this isn't just about a lower price. It's really about gathering crucial user feedback on a plan that offers 10 times the messaging of the free tier, plus image generation and file uploads. It's a massive experiment in accessibility.
Meanwhile, over at Alibaba, their Qwen team has just open-sourced a new image editing model that, it could solve one of the trickiest problems in generative AI, making detailed edits with natural language. Think about it, making pixel-perfect changes or transforming entire styles from just a simple prompt, all while keeping the original subjects perfectly intact. This could be a total game-changer for creative workflows. Now, let's look at an industry where adoption is just soaring. According to Google Cloud, an overwhelming 90% of game developers are now integrating AI into their workflows, and this isn't some future trend we're talking about. This is happening right now. So what are they using it for? Pretty much everything. Nearly half are automating playtesting, and almost as many are using AI to generate code. But it goes even deeper, into dynamic gameplay balancing and even generating entire worlds from scratch. AI is fundamentally altering the very DNA of how games get made. Okay, but for every one of those exciting new tools, a sobering statistic is popping up, and it's creating this central tension in today's AI landscape. The hype is absolutely real, but you know what? So are the hurdles. And here is that stark contrast. While game developers are seeing 90% adoption, that new MIT Sloan report finds that 95% of corporate generative AI pilots are failing. They're just stalling out because of unclear ROI, big governance gaps, and huge integration challenges. There's this massive disconnect between trying and actually succeeding. This incredible failure rate just raises the critical question for every single leader in this space. How do you make sure your project ends up in that successful 5%? The answer seems to be all about bridging the gap between theory and practical, deployable expertise, and that's something the market is clearly struggling with right now. The 1-2 punch just keeps coming, with a really serious warning from OpenAI's own CEO, Sam Altman. He is cautioning that the entire industry might be in an investment bubble. He's saying current spending is outpacing actual productivity gains, which, risks a major market correction if the results don't start matching these astronomical expectations. In this reality check, it extends to the products themselves. Leaked system prompts from xAI's chatbot Grok have pulled back the curtain on the chaotic and, frankly, ethically questionable personas being engineered. On one hand, you have the nice, benign helpers. On the other, you have prompts with instructions to be, and I'm quoting this directly, fucking unhinged and crazy, and to pull material from places like 4chan and InfoWars. It's a really startling look at the unregulated Wild West of AI personality design. All right, so this brings us to the hardware. Because all of this software, it runs on incredibly powerful chips.
And there is a high-stakes game unfolding as corporations and governments maneuver for control of the physical infrastructure that is powering this AI revolution. At the absolute center of this geopolitical chess match is Intel. After his stock just plummeted a disastrous 60% in 2024, the company became a target for major strategic investment, and that set the stage for some really unprecedented moves.
So now you have two massive players stepping in. First, the private firm SoftBank injected $2 billion. And now, the Trump administration is in talks to take a 10% stake using CHIPS Act funds. Look, this is not just about saving a company, it's about securing a national security asset, since Intel is one of the only firms left making these advanced chips right here on US soil.
So while Intel fights for survival, its rival Nvidia is walking this geopolitical tightrope. They're developing a brand new chip, the B30A, specifically for the Chinese market. It has to be powerful enough to compete with Huawei, but just weak enough to avoid violating US export restrictions. It is an incredibly delicate balancing act.
And in yet another strategic move, chip designer ARM is recruiting top talent from Amazon AI. What's the goal? To reduce its reliance on partners like Nvidia and speed up its own custom AI silicon. Everybody is racing to control their own destiny in the hardware game.
It all really comes down to this constant push and pull, doesn't it? On one side, you have incredible world-changing innovation. And on the other, you have massive operational, financial, and even ethical instability. In AI today, these really are just two sides of the very same coin.
You know, in such a complex landscape, the need for clear voices and real thought leadership is just greater than ever. It's all about sharing insights to help everyone navigate this chaos. And that chaos, it brings every single person in this field to a pretty fundamental crossroads.
Which leaves us with the final critical question. In this race, where the gap between the hype and the reality seems to get wider every single day, we're all caught in this paradox. Is the biggest risk moving too fast, building bubbles and unhinged products? Or is the biggest risk not moving fast enough and getting completely left behind?